What is a contrarian narrative? What does it mean to go against the grain? What does it mean to be a skeptic? When people do those kinds of things, participate in those kinds of conversations, frequently they find themselves not necessarily on a path that they chose. It just happens to be the path that they're on. My name is Scott Jensen. I'm a family practice doctor in Minnesota. There have been times over the last 10 months I felt like I was the most scrutinized, picked on, and harpooned doctor in Minnesota. I've been attacked and criticized by bureaucrats, fellow politicians, academicians, doctors who don't agree with me, patients, and I'm sure hundreds of other folks. But the fact of the matter is, everything got ratcheted up a bit when the Board of Medical Practice decided to investigate my license. And that's happened a couple times now. That changes things. All of a sudden, my livelihood is being questioned. It's easy to become bitter. I'm not going to do that. I remember the words of Abraham Lincoln, with malice toward none, with charity for all, or something like that. No malice, yes to charity. I think that's important. I was surprised that a lead editor for a Japanese newspaper reached out to me a couple weeks ago and said, we want to do an article about you and the Great Barrington Declaration. I said, interesting. Why are you going to do that? Well, we need to explore both sides of the issue. And he posed several questions. I thought you might find them interesting. He asked, what motivated me to sign the Great Barrington Declaration? Why did I want to go public with a contrarian narrative? Because I really don't see the Great Barrington Declaration as a contrarian narrative. I see it as an exploration of what we're living through. But here was my answer. The Declaration is a reasonable and thoughtful consideration of mitigation policies. Specifically, it identifies significant problems with broad-based lockdown policies, which do hold the potential for unanticipated collateral damage involving mental health issues and delay in diagnosis of medical problems. That was a big part of why I thought the Great Barrington Declaration had something to offer. The next question, what specifically would you do regarding this declaration? Well, I would avoid lockdown policies. I'd focus on protecting the vulnerable, open schools, and accentuate the value of keeping policy formation as local as possible. Why and how did you become one of the 9 members of the World's Doctors Alliance? This group of doctors recognized the scrutiny and investigation I was experiencing in the United States, and they asked me to share my story and voice my concerns regarding the global response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Is there any specific activity that you have involved in as a member of the Alliance so far? I participated with the group through Zoom platforms in peaceful demonstrations in Trafalgar Square in London. And the last question this Japanese editor had for me was, please give comments or messages to physicians and other medical professionals in Japan on the issue of COVID-19 chaos. And I said this, I firmly believe physicians need to recognize the rich heritage of the medical profession regarding a shared commitment to the scientific method, respect for civil discourse and debate, honoring the value of peer review methodologies as well as randomized, controlled, and double-blinded studies, recognizing the insidious risks of corrupting data to suit one's own perspective, and a constant aware of the commandment to first do no harm in patient care. I sleep well at night, and the reason I do is because throughout the last 10 months, I have tried to hold the welfare of my patient above all things. Honestly, when I more than a year ago announced I wasn't going to run for re-election, I thought that I might have a chance to sort of ride off into the sunset wearing a white cowboy hat like John Wayne in a Western. It didn't work out that way. I have never been so criticized and attacked in my life. This is different. I've always been sort of just one of the guys, a family doc, a local guy who delivered 500 of the babies in the area. But this is a path I'm on. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I do know that around the world, we're all looking at how can we be better people? How can we tap into what's happening? Because rest assured, COVID-19 isn't the last pandemic. We can do better next time. We have to do better next time. And next time, maybe we can do it as more of a United States rather than the divided states. Thanks for engaging.